Hi, my name's Chloe and I'm the ladies captain of the Jersey women's team. I'm an all-rounder, so I open the bowling usually and I bat number 4 for our team. I started when I was 12 years old. A lot of coaches used to come into the primary schools and deliver our PE lessons. So then from then on, I just absolutely love cricket. And I asked mum and dad if I could go to a lot of the classes. And then on, I have just been in love with cricket. And that was from the age of 12. Not long after I actually started, Gemma Dunning asked me to come to the women's training session. Looks like I impressed him because I stayed in the team ever since. And my first trip was actually a year after, when I was 13. We went away to Berlin. And we played in the Europeans. Yeah, that was a really sort of big eye-opener to me as to how far the women's game can go, and I was only 13. Unfortunately, after that trip, a lot of the ladies decided part ways. There was no ladies left. Myself, at the age of like 13, 14, and Rosie, who was one of the women in the team in Berlin, stuck and basically developed what is now the new current women's team of all the youngsters.
Oh wow, so how did you go about starting that? There's two of you just suddenly were like, right, okay, well, we're a 2-man team now. How did you go into schools? Did you advertise? How did you get the girls involved?
Basically just had to do after school clubs and do sessions on Saturdays and Sundays, and obviously because I was only like 14, 15, so Rosie took it over. She literally did keep Jersey cricket going. Yeah, Lee helped out here and there. Obviously he was very, very busy with the men's team. Like they travel quite a lot.
You got Lee on board helping out with the women. Is he your full-time coach?
He is now the women's head coach, yes.
So you got these young girls involved through school and that kind of thing. How often do you train now? Have they come together quite well as a team that train often?
Yeah, so we do train twice a week. Wintertime's twice a week. There was a session in the evening, and there was actually a morning session which was just based on fitness at 7 o'clock in the morning. Our main sort of attribute to that was commitment. If one of us is turning up at 7 o'clock, all of us has to turn up at 7 o'clock. And now we're in the ranks. I think we're 34th, 35th in the world currently in T20, and we're looking to constantly build on that. So
for you, at such a young age, having turned around and literally been like, right, okay, we want to keep this going. I'm 13, 14. I got school and a lot of stuff to do. All this bunch of 13, 14-year-olds, they're all down the chippy smoking fags, whatever, around the back of the corner. And you're like, right, I'm going to keep women's cricket going across the whole island. What can I do? That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was. I must admit, a lot of credit must go to Rosie and Gemma, obviously before she left. They really did sort of build the grassroots base of all the girls coming from the schools and doing all the clubs. And then obviously once I was a little bit older, sort of took that on and become sort of like a coach on like a 0 hour basically.
What's the system like? Have you got club system? Is it quite well established across the country, or is it more just we have a national girls team and then you sort of come in just from the schools?
Yeah, we have obviously our women's team, and then we have an under 15s Lionesses team and an under 13s Lionesses team. So they play in the Sunday morning league with all the other boys' clubs. Unfortunately, we don't have any other club for the women. We all just play for the women's squad, and that's it. We don't play. We're not affiliated to any clubs.
Yeah.
We're too small of an island to have 3 or 4 teams. There's a lot more competition on the men's side. So a lot of the women's team now are playing like men's 3rd division just so they can have regular games during the week.
Yeah, and on that side, the men quite supportive of the whole women's game. It sounds like they're very supportive of it all.
Yeah, we rocked up there on the first game day, and they let us. I bowled first. They put me number 3. So for someone who's come in and they don't really know me, they thought quite highly of me. Obviously speaking with Lee, and they trusted me enough just to throw me in the deep end pretty much straight away. They didn't leave us out. They were really, really good. And a lot of the clubs have now said, if you have any girls that want to play, on a Saturday or a Sunday, let us know and they can play. Lee works for Jersey Cricket, so he does develop the boys' academies and the girls. So he obviously tries his hardest to put a lot of the girls into the boys' leagues and the men's league.
So you say you've been on tour. You went on that trip to Berlin, played in the Europeans. Is that the plan for the future? You know, you're looking. Obviously, this last year has been a bit. You know, probs haven't left the island. But what's the hope for the future?
Yeah, we need to beat a lot of countries ahead of us, ranked ahead of us, to even be considered to be moved up. We are looking to go away in August to play Italy and Austria. Yeah, we are looking at options, but unfortunately here we don't have any competition with the women. It's just our squad and that's it.
In terms of the last year, have you been able to train at all?
We were really bad between, obviously I think the whole world was bad between March to about June, July. Then everything started to open up again and we were allowed one-to-ones only. And then as long as we stayed distant and you know, sanitized all the balls and all that, then we were allowed to sort of do it in small groups.
Yeah, and have you got any matches lined up?
We have Guernsey in the Interpeninsular, which is always the big one.
It's basically the Ashes, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's war when you play them. You don't care what happens over the 3 hours. Like the outcome is you win.
You will win. Yeah.
You don't let Guernsey go home with a trophy. That's for sure. The minute you cross that line that you play for Jersey, you put pride, commitment, effort into Jersey, and nothing else matters other than come away with a victory. Why would I want to enter something to come second? No thanks. So I come first, or I don't talk about it.
Or it didn't happen.
Yeah, I don't remember it actually, funny enough.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to come second playing Guernsey.
No, that's been a regular occurrence recently because we just haven't been strong enough. We've been on the losing side for the last couple of years.
Okay, well, you can turn it around.
So I'm hoping this time we've got these new girls coming through. A lot of them are bowling quick, and I'm talking a lot. One girl is close to 6 foot and she's only about 14. She's bowling quick and she's finding it quite amusing now to bowl bouncers at people's chest and head height. So
you're
she
like, save it for the Guernsey game.
That's exactly what Lee said. Lee said, if you want to do it, do it. When I first started for Jersey, you know, people like Rosie and Gemma, you know, they were constantly just reiterating how important it is to like put your body on the line for Jersey. You know, once you put this shirt on, you're representing Jersey. Probably say my inspiration's Nat Siver from England, 100%. I just think she's class. Bowling, batting, fielding, I just think she's a credit to England, really. If I could be a batter like Nat Siver and a bowler like Catherine Brunt, I wouldn't have an issue. Well, if you want to talk about the how the women's game's grown, is when I first started, we had to bag pack to raise funds for our off-island travel and accommodation. Mm-hmm. Whereas now we have the sponsors, and Jersey Cricket have thrown a lot of money into the women's game because of how you know, growing it is across the world. So they've put a lot of money and time into women's cricket, so we have funds now in the bank to pay for our off-island accommodation. And yeah, so we were backpacking every Saturdays and Sundays. That took up a lot of our plans. We had to plan accordingly, obviously, if we could backpack enough money, and then ask for a couple of funds from Jersey Cricket. And back then, the women's game wasn't travelling anywhere, so they didn't really put a lot of money and time into us, which they would probably happily admit. But now they have thrown a lot of money and time and effort into us, and obviously got us a head coach, whereas before we just had coaches on 0 hours that could just coach when they wanted to do it. So we never really had a structure of a training program. It was just nights that like all the ladies could do. Whereas now we've got a proper structure. You know, we have grassroots of the girls coming up into the different academies and then working their way into the women's squad.
You've seen quite a change over your 7 or 8 years, haven't you?
Yes. I'm very happy as to where we are now. Like I say, Gemma and Rosie could take a lot of credit from where we are now.
Amazing.
They were the ones that stuck.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for chatting to me, and I will keep in touch.